Download the free Gun Dealio app to your smartphone. Find out about the latest deals and news on guns and gear. Includes the latest Gun Talk podcast and Gun Talk videos. That's Gun Dealio on the App Store and Google Play.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, hear from the man who confronted a murderer in Sutherland Springs, Texas last November. Plus, the decision to hold or release a threat, legal help for gun owners after a shooting, and more. Call in now at 866-TALK-GUN with your questions, comments, and range reports. And now, here's the star of the show, Tom Gresham.
Well, hello and welcome again. I am Tom Gresham. I'm your host. If you want to talk with us here on the air, it's real easy. Just call me Tom Talk Gun. That's the number. Doesn't get any easier than that. Just pick up the phone and call me Tom Talk Gun, because that's what we do, of course. We talk about guns and things. It's called Gun Talk. Been on the air for, oh my gosh, a long time now. 23 plus years. Holy cow. A lot of things have changed over that period of time, and a lot of things are the same. I'll be talking about that in just a moment, about how some of the things are very much the same, especially when it comes to politics. There is some value in experience of having been there, of having seen things and recognizing patterns. And we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also take your calls about range reports. Of course, love to get range reports. I'll have a report for you on a new revolver I shot, also a new semi-auto. We were out shooting guns and gear segments this week. By the way, we were up at a place I had not been to before. I went up there for a location scouting, but had never been there to shoot. And it's just outside of Jackson, Mississippi, called Boondocks Firearms Training Academy. Man, that was impressive. They have done it right. I think they want to be the gun site of the South, and they're well on their way. Not just facilities, although the facilities are very first rate. It's the people and the attitude and taking care of people. So that was impressive. Boondocks, check that out. Man, and I'll have some range reports of my own because got to shoot some guns there. We also did some kind of nutty things, but that's what we do. Not unsafe, note, not unsafe, but nutty things we do for TV with firearms. It's really about coming up with fun targets, which is, I would offer, probably a good idea for all of us, just to make our shooting interesting and fun occasionally, to change it up. But also, if you really want to get newcomers into shooting, fun targets, reactive targets. Because, I mean, come on, look, we'll all shoot paper, and we do that. We shoot small groups, and, et cetera, et cetera. But if you really want to have fun, you need some reactive targets. And it can be nothing more than, way back a zillion years ago, we just shot tin cans and knocked them over. Now, unfortunately, now our tin cans are no longer tin. They're made of aluminum, and they offer almost no resistance, and bullets just fly right through them. When they were actually tin, you could knock them over more easily. So, just things change. But you can still come up with a lot of things. We actually went shopping at a Walmart, just went around and picked up stuff to shoot. By the way, one that doesn't work, just I can tell you right now, it was one of those, this will be great, man. We're going to shoot this thing with high velocity 22 rimfire. And we got these plastic balls that are glitter balls. They got a liquid inside. You shake them, and you got glitter all over the place. Man, we'll shoot them, and we'll record the video with our high-speed cameras and get the spray. Yeah, not so much. We shot them. We hit them. Punched a hole in them. Went in one side, out the other. Nothing. I mean, nothing, baby. Just like, really? Ice pick kind of deal. Okay. How you going to know if you don't try it? So there you go. Tell you what, I was digging through some files, old files, and I have something I want to share with you. And when we come back, I want to share with you something I wrote 13 years ago about the Clinton gun ban, the assault weapon ban, and what happened there. And I think you will find it interesting and possibly even instructive as far as where we are today. So I'll give you that update. We'll also take your calls. And a little bit later on, not very far from now, we're going to have on the show here Stephen Willeford. He is the gentleman who stopped the mass shooting in Sutherland Springs, Texas. He, grabbed his modern rifle, ran barefoot to where it was going on, and assessed the situation and shot the bad guy while he was frightened out of his wits. We'll have Stephen on. If you have a question or two that you'd like me to ask him, call me now and tell me what you would like me to ask Stephen. What was he, if there's something you're curious about, that whole thing. 866-TALK-GUN or just Tom Talk Gun. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
When someone leaves you their gun collection, you may want a few, but what do you do with the rest? How do you sell them? Who do you call? Well, I call Johnny Dury at Dury's Guns. Whether you're selling one gun or 500, they'll tell you what it's worth and write you a check. Simple, quick, easy, fair. I trust Dury's Guns. Give them a call. DurysGuns.com. Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of one football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
The pistol that redefines pocket carry just got even better. The Ruger LCP-2 has improved sights, an easy-to-rack slide, a larger textured grip surface for a secure grip and recoil reduction, and a short, crisp, single-action trigger pull for real-world accuracy. It's so small and light that there's no reason to ever leave home without your LCP-2. A serious pistol in a pint-sized package. Learn more about the LCP-2 at Ruger.com.
Laser sights enhance shooting fundamentals, sight alignment, and trigger control. Training with laser sights increases muzzle awareness, improves and corrects sight alignment at sight picture, and aids in acquiring and maintaining sight picture in low light conditions. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our laser training video, The Laser's Edge, and learn why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
Let's jump in the Wayback Machine. Go back in time a little bit. The year's 2005. January 2005. A piece I wrote, magazine article. This was right after the Clinton gun ban had sunsetted, had expired, the assault weapon ban. It was passed in 94, and the only way they could get it passed was to say, well, we'll put a provision on it that it will sunset, it will automatically disappear in 10 years. Well, at that point, the Democrats had control of Congress for 40 years. And they're thinking, well, we'll just renew it. Never imagining that the very act, and this is the part that I love, the very act of passing the gun ban was what cost them control of Congress. In the 94 election, they got defeated and Republicans got control of Congress. So 10 years later, Congress did not renew the Clinton gun ban. So 2004, the gun ban goes away, the so-called assault weapons ban goes away. So I was writing about that, and remember, this is 13 years ago now, right? All right, I'm just going to read a few little clips out of this because you may find it interesting. You may think I wrote it this morning. A quick recap for those who just woke up. In 1994, a Congress which was controlled by the Democratic Party passed barely the so-called assault weapon ban, and President Bill Clinton signed it into law. To get the votes needed, the Democratic leaders of Congress included the provision in the law which was a death sentence. If Congress did not renew the ban, it would sunset in 10 years. Josh Sugarman of the Violence Policy Center was quoted as saying that the public didn't know the difference between semi-auto and full-auto rifles. And the gun control movement could take advantage of that by convincing them that these rifles were, in fact, machine guns. He was right. Of course, that is possible only if the anti-gun rights forces have the full cooperation of the media. I said in the months before 1994, the vote in 1994, CNN and other networks frequently showed video of machine guns being fired when the talking heads were describing the debates on the assault weapon ban. Each time, the networks were informed that there were no machine guns in the ban. The networks didn't care. They wanted the ban, and they were only too eager to show misleading footage to help confuse and frighten the public. All right, let me jump forward to another part of this piece that I wrote because I think this is going to be interesting. Charles Krauthammer, writing in the Washington Post, in 1996, 96. So we're now going back 96, 06, 22 years ago. 22 years ago. Charles Krauthammer wrote about the gun ban, the Clinton gun ban, the assault weapon ban. Quote, passing a law like the assault weapons ban is a purely symbolic move in that direction. Its only real justification is not to reduce crime, but to desensitize the public to the regulation of weapons in preparation for their ultimate confiscation. That's the quote. And then I wrote this. The real purpose, and it was achieved in great measure, was and is to set up in the mind of the public that it is right and good for the government to ban the ownership of some guns. Once that aberration of freedom is established, any gun can be banned. Some shoot too fast, machine guns. Some are too ugly, assault weapons. Some are too small, Saturday night specials. Some are too big, 50 caliber sniper rifles. In the end, the category of too large and too small are expanded toward each other until all guns are included. I wrote this in 2004, published in 2005. The fight is not now and will never be over. We achieved a rare reversal. It is a huge success in that we have never overturned a federal gun ban. One could hope this is the first in a significant string of useless gun laws removed from the books, but one would probably be dreaming. The gun banners will be back soon. They will say that the reason the assault weapon ban did not work is that it didn't ban enough guns. So I said, stay alert, never let them lie without being challenged. A lie left unchallenged becomes the truth. And then I finished it with this quote from Sarah Brady of the Brady Group, Brady Campaign. The expiration of this law is temporary. It will be renewed. It is only a matter of how long it will take to renew it. In my home state, Louisiana, on Tuesday in a Senate committee, they will vote to ban assault weapons, so-called assault weapons, semi-automatic firearms. And it's been expanded significantly. I talked about this, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. It's been expanded and it would include pistols, anything that had a threaded barrel, a 10-22 with a threaded barrel, a Ruger 25-45 semi-automatic pistol with a threaded barrel. It's banned. There will be in every state, these kind of things are happening. Every state right now. I'm getting a blitz of emails of we must be there. This is what's going on. This is the lineup of bills. The hearings are in this room in the morning, in this room in the afternoon. I'll be there on Tuesday. I'll be there all day. I'll be giving testimony. One of the things they're doing And this is happening in other states as well. Louisiana has a preemption bill where only the state is allowed to have gun laws. This sticks in the craw of the gun banners because they want to go city by city. So there is a bill that would end preemption in Louisiana, thus, in essence, really killing concealed carry. Because what they want is for New Orleans to be able to have their own laws. What they want is for more people to become Shaneen Allen. Shaneen Allen, the single mother who lives in Pennsylvania, drove into New Jersey with her handgun, and her concealed carry permit was stopped with a traffic stop, and dutifully informed the officer that she has a firearm and she has her permit, thinking that was all that was necessary. She was thrown in jail, charged with a crime that could have sent her to jail for 5 to 10 years. Single mother, trying to obey the law, trying to do everything correctly, because she crossed a line without having the right piece of paper. That's it. That's all there is. Crossed an invisible line without having the right piece of paper with her. That's what they want to do here, and that's what they want to do everywhere. And make it, remember, part of the whole thing here, you got to understand it's not what the goal is. We know what the goal is, okay? That's easy. The thing to figure out is what is the tactic? What is the long-term strategic plan? There are a lot of parts to this picture, but one of them is this. One of them is to make it so difficult or onerous or even dangerous to your freedom, your financial freedom and your physical freedom, to have a gun, to carry a gun, to keep a gun, that many people would just say, it's just not worth it. I don't know where the lines are. I could go into a small town, and they've changed their laws there, and I don't know what the laws are there. And I could get thrown in jail, even though I'm trying to obey the law, which is, of course, the whole point of preemption and the whole point of national reciprocity, which is you would have universal laws. It would be like a town having its own speed limits and not having to put up speed limit signs. You just go in. We'll let you know when you're going too fast when we arrest you. Really? That's what we're talking about. When cities can have their own gun laws, and you drive into a city or a county, or in our case, a parish, and the gun laws are different, you could be sent to jail. They tried to do that with Shaneen Allen. Well, they did do it. They put her in jail. We only, were able to get her out by commuting the sentence by pardoning her, basically. It's a horrible situation. And right now, I guess I jumped back into this Wayback Machine. I wanted to go look at what we were doing more than a decade ago, because I will tell you honestly, and this is, you know me, I'm not a sky is falling kind of guy. I have not seen this kind of effort in my history of doing this for 50 years. I have not seen a situation that is so ripe for us to lose freedoms. I've not seen so many people openly advocating to strip us of our freedoms. We have people saying on Facebook and other places, all gun owners should be hanged. Really? My comment to that was, I get it. Peace through genocide. Let's hang 100 million people. Make Hitler's effort look small in comparison. And I understand people say, that's just rhetoric. They're just blowing up. No, there's actually a lot of them that would like to do that. I know people who are getting real, no-kidding death threats with the FBI investigating them. Credible death threats from the tolerant, nonviolent left. Weird. It's a weird time. It's almost a reversal. Think about this. It's interesting. You have a group of people who likes to think of themselves as tolerant and open, lots of diversity. They are okay with people having different views, different backgrounds. And yet, they have talked themselves into this mob mentality, which is really all you can say it is, mob mentality, where it's okay to denigrate, to castigate, to threaten, to physically attack, to post pictures of people's children and where they go to school. These are the gun rights advocates, and this is where their children go to school. That's what they're doing now. And yet, if somebody did that to any other identifiable group, pick a group, okay? People of color, LGBT group, immigrants, it doesn't matter. Just pick a group. And if you said, we're going to target you and we're going to post pictures of your children and where they go to school, basically saying, here's your target list, go attack them, go murder them, the outcry would be deafening. But that's what we're facing. So what's the takeaway? I think the takeaway on this is you can't give up, because that's what they want. They want you to give up something. Give up a little bit. Just give us a little. Give us the bump stocks. Come on. You don't really care about the bump stocks. And I hear gun owners say, just give them the bump stocks. Really? No. Hell no. Not a chance. Because there's no reason to it. There's no rational reason. There's no logic to it. It's just a way to say, see, we got something. You admitted that there's such a thing as a bad gun thing. And when you start down that road, then they can redefine anything as being bad. You don't give in to that. No, never. And what I guess the takeaway is, now's the time. Now is the time. Show up or give up. If we're not there, we're going to lose. It's really, really, really that simple. If we're not there, we're going to lose. Hey, coming up, we're going to be talking about self-defense with guns. I've got a bunch of self-defense stories for you, successful self-defense uses. And, of course, we have the one that we all heard about, we know about, Stephen Willeford, stopping the attacker who was using an AR-15 to kill women and children and men in a church. And then he grabbed his AR and stopped the shooting and saved people. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. You can remember all that other stuff. Line 3, Steve's with us out of Omaha, Nebraska, with a range report, actually a rally report. Steve, you're on.
Yes. Good day, sir. We went to the National Coalition for Patriotic Americans rally yesterday in Lincoln. Mm-hmm. And the weather was just horrible. I mean, it was 33 and snowy and rainy and sleet and everything. But it was there was about 150 people there.
Wow, okay. And, that's a good turnout for nasty weather.
We exercised our
your First Amendment rights.
First and second. Well,
yep.
There was first, both.
Okay.
First Amendment for sure. And no elected people were there, but there was a whole lot of people who wanted to be elected who spoke, and there was good music and a lot of positive, patriotic talking, and it was a good time. The weather was just horrible, but everything else was wonderful. TV covered it, and they were better than I thought they were going to be. They actually just listened to what we had to say and put us on TV and didn't make any comments or editorials or whatever. It was kind of refreshing.
Well, that's great. Of course, now, to be fair, you're not exactly in New York City there either,
That's true.
Omaha's a little bit different.
We're right out in the Second Amendment world, so it was kind of, even the liberal media just kind of let it happen and didn't really make any comments on it.
Well, that's terrific. That is great. Did you get any sense of it, what is happening, of people really understanding how serious the current attack is?
the people who were there absolutely believe that. And then when I was Facebooking it live to my friends, they were all commenting saying, "Well, I wish I was there. Thanks for covering it," that kind of thing. And they are now realizing what I realized, which is what you told us a couple of weeks ago. This is different. This is not the normal. This is, unfortunately, the new normal. And yes, it is absolutely serious. And if we don't wake up, they're already organized. They're already funded. We were funded, but we were sleeping. And so I took my 18-year-old. She felt that her rights potentially could be taken away. And she says, "Hey, I'm going to join a group. What should I join, Dad?" And I said, "Here's 3 or 4. You pick 2 of the best ones. You buy one, and I'll buy the other one for you."
Well, that's cool.
And she said, "Sure." So she's now an NRA member and a Second Amendment Foundation member.
Well, that'd be the 2 that I would pick. So that's perfect.
We hit a home run on both of them. So yeah, it was. She might have been. She wasn't the youngest one there because there were a couple strollers, but she was probably the youngest voting age person there.
The other thing I would suggest is that you guys both get involved in your state group because that's where the action is right now.
The Nebraska Firearms Owner Association is alive and well, and it's doing good. But yeah, it needs attention and active members, and yeah, we need to get them. Well,
all right. Hey, Steve, I got to run, man. I've got people lined up. Everybody wants to talk today. Thank you so much for the rally report. That was terrific. I love that. Let's talk to Craig on line 1 out of Albuquerque. Craig, you're on Gun Talk.
Hello, sir. So we did have a rally in Santa Fe. There was over 100 people, and and Santa Fe, of course, is extremely liberal and left-wing, so those people, a lot of them had to drive in from rural areas and what have you, or Albuquerque. Anyway, just thought I'd let you know that quite a few people showed up at the Capitol. Now, on another note, self-defense stories. I'm a 3-tour combat vet. I'm retired military and retired law enforcement. And we have a gang that's been hitting our neighborhood real hard and heavy, and they are shooters. And I was sitting in my driveway in my truck. I have a new truck, and all of a sudden the door flew open, and this young man stuck a .45 up against my head. And my first reaction was to try to slam his arm in the door. He pulled it back, fired at me point blank. The bullet hit the door of the truck and ricocheted off. I then hit him with the door and grabbed a pistol that I had just acquired, a P320 out at the base, Sig P320. And he ran down along the side of the truck, firing at me as he was running towards his getaway car. And as I came around the end of the truck, his buddy in the driver's station opened fire on me as well. The police picked up close to 30 cartridge casings, and I had bullet holes in my house, my neighbor's house, my tree, my truck, my Jeep, my garage, and God was really looking out for me. Didn't get a scratch, and I was able to return fire by running up to their truck. That was the only cover I had, because when they got into the truck, they were firing from the truck, and so by running up to the back of the truck, they couldn't fire at me. But they pulled ahead, stopped about 2 car lengths away, and then re-engaged me, which is when I started returning fire. But it was a hell of a gunfight.
When did this happen?
Back in October.
Wow. So you had a P320, so you've got, 15 rounds in that? Yeah.
And here's the thing about that, just on a side note, because you're the kind of guy that could probably help me. I wrote a letter because I was thrilled with how well the P320 executed during that engagement. And I was extremely pleased with the night sights and how well, because this was at night, how well they operated. I wrote a letter, a lengthy letter in detail to the Sig Sauer Academy, no response. Called, no response. Emailed the head of the academy, no response. Emailed 3 other people at SIG, no response. So I was extremely disappointed with Sig Sauer and their lack of response to a combat veteran and a retired police officer praising one of their firearms. They couldn't even pick up or get enough time to respond to any of my emails. I was very disappointed in SIG.
Well, I'll pass that along. I will tell you from my personal experience, even just recently, they are swamped and they have a lot of different departments. And it may be one of those deals that got bounced around, like who's going to take care of this? And then somebody dropped the ball. But I will reintroduce the ball to the SIG folks and see if they can get back to you on it, because I'm sure it's still around there. Let me ask you a question. You've had some time to process this now. What are your takeaways? If you said, okay, here's 2 or 3 things I learned from that I have passed along to my friends and my family.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, it was clear that they were not just there to take my car. They were more than willing to take my life over a vehicle. Mm-hmm. So when people argue that, hey, look, it's just property. Well, yeah, okay, it's just property. But let me tell you, there's no guarantee that even if you acquiesce and subjugate yourself, that you're going to come out alive. These guys were more than willing to take my life.
Right. What I've told people, they said, well, just give them what they want. I said, well, what if what they want is to kill you?
Yeah. I mean, and there's no guarantee that even if you hand over everything they want, let them in your door, take this, take that they're still not going to kill you. We have a generation of young people, and one of the 2 of them was 16 years old. We have a generation who shoots up schools without batting an eye, murders people over nothing but a look or a pair of shoes or what have you. I don't know how. I mean, I have my thoughts, all the years I've spent dealing with them. I have many theories as to why we have created this generation of cold-blooded, non-empathetic individuals.
I'm almost out of time here. I've got to run to a break. But let me ask you, just kind of first of all, I'm thinking, here's what I do. The moment I step in my car, I lock the door. If I got to sit there and make a phone call, the door's locked. If I'm sitting there counting whatever, the door's locked. Because I've had somebody come up and open the door of my car and surprise the devil out of me. Now, they just picked the wrong car. They thought it was theirs. But same deal. I got to thinking, that could have been somebody just, open the door and stick a gun in my head, just like it happened to you.
Well, this is my driveway in my home, so I wasn't really in. But I just absolutely don't want to live my life that way. But I will say this, from a tactical standpoint, coming away from it, if I give one tactical piece of advice, switch to armor-piercing alternating with hollow points, because my hollow points disintegrated upon impact with their vehicle.
With not with the glass, but with the body?
With everything. They just did not have any penetration. So I alternate armor-piercing hollow point.
Yeah, well, you can't really have the armor piercing if they're actually made for armor piercing for handguns. But you know what? And I appreciate the call. If you choose something that passes the FBI protocol, it probably will do well on glass out of handguns. But that's one of the things we need to be paying attention to. Excellent report. I am sorry that it happened. I'm so glad that you were up to the task there, Craig. Hey, when we come back, let's talk to Stephen Willeford, the man who shot the mass murderer in Sutherland Springs, Texas. Be right back.
When the U.S. military's elite units and law enforcement agencies across the globe demanded innovation and reliability, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. When world champion professional shooters demanded precision accuracy, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. So it's no surprise more and more civilian gun owners are refusing to settle for anything less. They're choosing Sig Sauer firearms, ammunition, electro-optics, suppressors, air guns, and training. Sig Sauer. Never settle.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at TimneyTriggers.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
This is Marty Hayes, president of the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. 10 years ago, I created the network to help armed citizens with the legal aftermath of self-defense. There is strength in numbers, and we now have over 15,000 members in the network and over $1 million in our legal defense fund for defensive members after an act of self-defense. To join, visit our website at armedcitizensnetwork.org. That's armedcitizensnetwork.org.
All right, by now you know the story. It was, maybe it's 5 months ago, November the 5th, 2017, Sutherland Springs, Texas. A man goes into the Baptist Church, First Baptist Church, starts murdering people. Simple as that. He has an AR-15. Stephen Willeford hears the shots, here's what's going on, grabs his rifle, his modern rifle, his AR-15, takes off, and does it so quickly he's barefooted, runs out there. You know the story. It's all been out there. Shoots, fires more than one shot, hits this guy. The guy takes off. He subsequently expires after Stephen and another gentleman chase him down. We're joined right now by Stephen Willeford from Sutherland Springs, Texas. Stephen, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me on.
Let me ask you, we don't have to go over the thing because everybody knows the story now. It's 5 months. There are a few questions I just want to get out of the way because I know you get asked them all the time, so we'll just get those out of the way. You know, people say, "Were you scared?" And I've seen your interviews on that. Just tell people what you felt in the middle of it.
I was mainly terrified for what happened inside the church because I never made it inside the church, but as I was headed over there, I yelled out and he came out. More than anything, I was terrified for my community and what had just happened, and my worst fears were realized. You know, he had murdered 26 of my neighbors, my friends, my family. And that's what terrified me the most. I'm going to say the Lord had his hand on me, and everything was so surreal. And when I look back at it, I really didn't feel a lot of fear. Mm-hmm. And in the moment, everything seemed real slow motion. But and I'm going to attribute that to the Holy Spirit that was just all over me that morning. And some of it to my training. Because, again, I think God trained me well ahead of time for this. And if I have any advice to your listeners is go out and get trained, compete in local competitions and stuff. And it's a lot of fun on top of it. But you never know whether you might need it or not at some point.
Well, exactly, and when you need it, that's not the time to pick up the training. It's the time to pick up the gun and know how to run it and operate it. Tell you what, we're up against our break here, Steve. We were a little bit late getting you on. Hold on, we're going to get you when we come back. Okay, just don't go anywhere. We're talking with Stephen Willeford, obviously the gentleman who shot the mass murderer in Sutherland Springs, Texas. An AR-15 stopped the fight, hit him, I believe more than one time, figured out that he was wearing a vest, slipped around on the side of the vest. When we come back, we'll get a little bit more information about that. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. Self-defense gun uses happen every day. All you have to do is just do a little searching for them. You can find them and spread that news. We're talking to Stephen Willeford from Sutherland Springs, Texas, the gentleman who used his AR-15 to stop a mass murder. Stephen, I got several quick questions for you, okay?
Okay.
How far was the shot when you were shooting at this guy? How far was that?
Well, when it first started out, he ran out of the church, and by the time I was engaging him, it was only like 20 yards.
Okay, well, 20 yards is, that's quite a ways in pistol distance, so probably good that you had your rifle.
Yes, I am a pistol competitor, but again, he had Class 3 body armor on.
Oh,
and I probably hit him, I probably hit him several times in the armor that obviously he felt. And when I hit him, then's when he decided he wanted out, and he had hit the truck in front of me, hit the car behind me, hit the house behind me. And I was using the truck for cover. But when I hit him, like I say, it was probably in his armor. He decided he wanted out. And when he ran around the corner around his door on his driver's side was open. And his vehicle was sitting in the middle of the street. And when he turned the corner around his door, that's when I saw the where the plates velcroed across his side, and
right.
Body armor, a lot of body armors, they have a front plate and they have a rear plate, and it velcros across the side, and that's when I put one in his side. I saw that opening. I put one in his side, and then I put one in his leg.
Did you have
his vehicle?
Were you using iron sights or an optical sight?
I was using a Neotech, and I'm going to tell you there is, and Neotech's going to love this, but there is no better sight for quick acquisition of a target. And I do a lot of shooting bowling pins and stuff and moving from bowling pin to bowling pin. And I have a lot of rifles that I built. That particular one that I grabbed was very light and very easy to move and had a Neotech on it because, it's kind of a tactical.
Sure, it's fast.
Rifle.
It's hard to beat a red dot. Let me ask you, one other thing I read is this, that you had to load magazines before you took off. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the one thing I do regret. And living in a small community like Sutherland Springs, I never felt safer than in my own hometown. And so I guess I was quite complacent. I didn't have even a magazine loaded, and that won't happen again, I promise.
Yeah. I'm sure. How you doing now, man?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good. Good.
My life is crazy sometimes. Obviously, I'm speaking to you, and I've been called to Washington D.C. and I sat in the State of the Union address and was honored by my congressmen and my senators, and I have them actually on my phone now, and which is. Crazy to think that I have my congressmen and senators on my phone, and who would, I tell people I feel like I'm Forrest Gump. I'm just an average kind of guy and just bumbling my way through life, and now I'm at D.C.,
Let me say this, Stephen, and again, I apologize. We're short on time. We got you in a little bit late. I want to get you back on when we can really talk about this in depth. Are you okay with that?
Okay.
Well, let's do that. Let's just make it a point. We'll get you back in. We'll clear the decks. You'll be the only person on. And because there's a lot of other questions, I know that you can share a lot of what was going on in your mind and things that we can all learn from that. Stephen Willeford, thank you. Not going to call you a hero. I know you don't like that, but you were the man. Thank you for what you did. 866-TALK-GUN.